Hi, I'm Molly, and today we're talking about the silent killer of many marketing campaigns, landing pages that don't convert. This is the Marketing PowWow.
The QBD podcast.
The Marketing PowWow.
It's got to be well written, it's got to be engaging, and it's got to have probably short, sharp, punchy sentences. And it's having that clear call to action right at the top of the page, which isn't a distraction. If you're sending them to a homepage or a contact us page,
Stop it.
You literally might as well just turn the ad off, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. There are massive holes in your bucket, and it doesn't matter how much you turn the tap on, how much money you spend on ads, you'll never fill that bucket up because of the holes.
Today, I'm joined by QBD's very own head of lead generation, Rich Brown. In this episode, we'll be uncovering why your ads, email, and social posts are only as strong as the landing page they lead to, the most common landing page mistakes costing businesses money, and the essential ingredients every high-converting landing page needs. So let's get into the Marketing PowWow.
The QBD podcast.
The Marketing PowWow.
Hi, Rich. Welcome to the Marketing PowWow. Great to have you as a guest today.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you.
So landing pages, obviously we know that any sort of marketing you do, whether it's paid ads, emails, organic social, you need somewhere to go. But what would you say is the biggest mistake people make with landing pages?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake with landing pages is they're often almost overlooked and they are a bit of an afterthought. And I think probably the first thing to do is to almost qualify what we mean by a landing page. Because in a sense, every page is a landing page, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like it's where someone lands. It's almost like the first page they hit when they visit your website. And so, yeah, what we see a lot, and I know with the ads that you run as well as I do for our clients, is that we do all the other work and then it is a bit of this afterthought, isn't it? Of like, oh, okay, we'll just send them to. And yes, there are issues and there are fundamental things that you need to put on a landing page, which we will cover as we chat through this. But I think the first thing is a lot of the time people then just sort of like throw them at the homepage, literally throw them at the homepage or send them to a contact us page. And it's not really just carrying on that journey, is it, of just like going through. And I know it's something that you've seen a lot with the ads that you run as well, certainly on the PPC side of things, is that, it's just this case of you're not really finishing that journey off, are you?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people just assume the ad does the heavy lifting, but actually the ad, yes, gets the traffic to the website, but it's the landing page that then turns that traffic into paying customers. Yeah.
And that's a good way of putting it, because it's the ad that's getting that attention and you are literally paying people, or you're literally paying for people to visit that page on your website. And so, it does need to work a lot harder and it does need to be more of a salesman. And I think by, just sort of throwing them at the homepage or the contact us page, you're putting a lot of expectation or a lot of emphasis on the user to figure out what they need to do. And I often, rightly or wrongly, I don't know if it's right or not, but I often think of like a landing page is a bit like a dead end in the sense of I'm going to send you to a place where you can only do the thing I want you to do. And when you send people to a homepage, there's lots of distractions on a homepage. I'll click the about us or the meet the team or the social media links or whatever. And the same, obviously, we've got the contact page. Then there's other times that I've seen the mistakes people make is like, okay, well, I won't send them to the homepage or the contact us page. We're running an ad for a certain product or a certain service, so we'll just send them to that page on the website of that service, which is arguably better than the homepage, but still not as good as what a proper landing page should be doing, because typically that service page is more content based, isn't it? And that you probably don't have the call to actions, and it doesn't have that dead end, as I sort of refer to it as, that dead end feel to it of you're just here to do this one thing I'm trying to do to get you to engage with us. And I know clients that we've worked with where they do have pages on their website, which is like the service page, but then we've also got the service page, which is like the landing page service page, without trying to confuse people too much, because you need to have it needs to really sell it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot about the sort of composition of the page. Yes, a service page is great, especially if you maybe don't have the budget to build additional sort of proper landing pages, if you like. But the composition of a good landing page from an ad, you've got like a form above the fold, a clear call to action, whereas a service page that you might have built a couple of years ago for more of a, like you say, information, heavy on the content, you're probably not guiding people quite as much. And I think especially when you're putting all that money into running an ad, why would you not want the end goal for them to be a customer? So do you find a lot of people sort of don't quite understand the importance of a landing page and how sort of detrimental it can be to not have one at all, or even a good one?
Yeah, certainly. As I said, it is really that sort of afterthought. You're like, oh, I don't know, we'll just, hasn't the ad done the work for us, as you said. I think the other thing that I found we've been trying to do with our clients recently with this sort of thing is that it's trying to make them view almost like all the costs of running an ad campaign, because, and it's something, as you know, we try and do at QBD, really to be very like transparent and give people the best advice on how to generate leads for their business, is that when you're running an ad, there are almost like hidden costs sometimes, these things.
Yeah. So
we can talk to you about ad spend, or how much money should you spend a month on an ad, and we can give you that guidance. If anybody wants that sort of guidance, they can always reach out and speak to us. But what you've got to figure out then is there's probably the management cost of what you're going to pay us to run those ads if you're not going to run those ads yourself. But then more often than not, and as we found with almost, I think every client that we've worked on, is they end up needing you end up needing a page on your website specifically dedicated to the ad campaign that you're running. And if you're running 2 or 3 ads, or 2 or 3 campaigns, or 2 or 3 ads, it's really going to be 2 or 3 landing pages. And that is also one of those other hidden kind of sunk costs in the whole campaign thing. So it's not just I run Google ads or Meta ads at £500 a month. There is the management fee you might be paying the agency to run that campaign for.
There's a lot more to it.
But then you also need to spend a few £100s maybe on your web developer or your own time building the landing page. And it's these sort of hidden cost things I think that people forget with it. So that's one of the things I think is really key for people to think about. Don't get me wrong, ads and landing pages work really, really well. I think people just need to be fully aware of what they're getting into.
Prepared of what it actually costs.
Yeah, exactly. But they can be detrimental. And something we try and do with all the ads that we run with people is to give them that visibility. Because one of the things people often say to us is that, well, if it's working, I'll spend loads of money. And, you know, if it's going to bring me in leads, I haven't got a limit to how much money I can spend a month if it's going to generate me leads. And we kind of get that. But at the same time, they want to know, how many leads is it going to get me? And it's that very magical, mythical.
Let me think of a number.
Yeah, let me think of a number sort of thing of like people want to do with it.
Yeah.
But so what we try to do is from the very outset sort of set those expectations and have that. We think of it like a journey, and it's like those stepping stones of, okay, how much is it going to cost you to reach a certain amount of people? Yeah. So that's like the CPM, like the cost per mile, or how much is it going to cost you to reach 1,000 people per thing. And that obviously depends on the platform that you're running, if it's Google ads or LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It would depend on there, but you'd have an expectation of, if you're going to spend £500, you could expect to reach 50,000 people, say. So that gives you like that first metric. You've then got the click-through rate, as you'll know, is that then we say, right, okay, of all the people that see this ad, how many people are we expecting to click on the ad? And the very broad brush rule that we tend to sort of stick with and tell clients is, if you're getting anywhere between 0.5 and 1%, it's going pretty well. I haven't actually told you this. One of the ads we're running for a client at the moment, they're getting 2.8% click through it. And I was so
beautiful.
I love sounding like such a nerd and such a geek when I tried to explain to them that this is this is amazing. Like it seems like such a low number, but trust me, this is amazing. Anyway, if you think we've reached 50,000 people and we go on the low end, so you're going to get 0.5 of those 0.5% of those people clicking the link, then you're getting about 250 people on the landing page. And then it's, okay, how hard can the landing page work? And if you've then got a very, 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 very low conversion rate on the landing page, you're lucky if you're getting even like one person at the end. So you spend like 500 quid at the top and there's not much coming out the end. We'll always then, people say to us, you know, how can I generate more leads for our business? And obviously that is really what we specialize in at QBD, is generating leads for businesses with their digital marketing. And we don't just want to be that company who goes, well, so you're spending 500 quid on your ads and it goes through those sort of percentages and stepping stones and you're getting 2 people out the bottom. Well, if you want 4 people out the bottom, well, just double the money that you're throwing in the top. There you go. That's lead generation. We never want to obviously do that at QBD. We're like, right, okay, what are the things that we can do to improve the steps? And yes, obviously things that we've discussed in other podcasts is how can you reach more people for less money? How can you increase that click-through rate? So you are getting 2.8% rather than 0.5%. But it's the landing page is usually the biggest one, is that if 250 people hit that landing page and it's only converting 0.5% or 1% or whatever it might be, it's really low. If we can get a landing page that's working harder for you and you get those things in place, you're not having to put more money in the top, but you are getting more people out the bottom. And as you said, a lot of people put the focus on, right, who are we going to target and how many clicks, and like the cost per click as well is one that I think a lot of people focus on when they're running any kind of campaign. But ultimately, if you can get your landing page to work harder and be that salesman, and it's the adage which I know we would, it's inevitable we'd use this analogy in this talk today, is the leaky bucket.
Yeah.
It's a good old leaky bucket where this is probably where the analogy really came from. Actually, was
absolutely.
that if you're trying to generate leads through a landing page on your website is like trying to fill a bucket with water.
Yes.
And if your landing page has got a load of holes in it, it is like a home page or a contact page, or it's a poorly designed landing page, doesn't look good on a mobile phone, slow to load, all these things. There are massive holes in your bucket, and it doesn't matter how much you turn the tap on, how much money you spend on ads, you'll never fill that bucket up because of the holes. And it's a real issue that people. It is going back to the first point. It's a real afterthought of like all roads do lead to your website, and I know in this sort of section we've talked a lot about the ad thing, but it applies to your organic social media, your emails. You're always sending people to your website. Ultimately, that most digital marketing is almost like an outpost activity, signposting activity back to your website where you can convert them to becoming leads and inquirers. And so having those dedicated journeys that people can go on, that they hit these dedicated pages which really feel like it's for them, is obviously going to make it seem better. And so it is the biggest mistake I see is that it is this afterthought, and people just think, I'll just chuck them here because surely they'll want the product. And you've only started that journey with them.
It's a lot of focus on like the start of the customer journey rather than the whole thing, like you say. What would you say are sort of, just going to the actual building of the landing pages, the warning signs that a landing page isn't working, or what do you sort of look out for when you're maybe doing an audit on someone who's running ads and looking at their landing page? What sort of do you look out for? Yeah,
so I think the first things are that it's the call to actions. As I said, if you have this, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I have this approach that is a bit of a dead end. So I want to send you somewhere where really the only thing you can do is do the thing I want you to do. Now, sometimes that might be a little bit harder because you will always have like the navigation menu on your website, but sometimes landing pages could get around that a little bit. But having sort of too many distractions of other things, it would be one of the elements I would say. But also, those sort of clear call to actions, and not having a clear call to action right at the top of the page. And I know that, a lot of the landing pages we then monitor and track and through all the analytics, and you can use some really great tools nowadays that will even track the activity on that landing page in terms of like heat maps and where people are clicking, that you don't need just one call to action on your page. You probably need 3 or 4, and they need to be sort of littered down the page, sort of spread out down the page. But the ads I know that we've run for other clients, when we're tracking almost the clicks on either those buttons. So say if there's like 4 call to action buttons on that page, you can put your Google Analytics in properly. It will even track which of the buttons they click. And it's something, it's like 50, 60, 65% of all the call to action clicks you get is probably in that first one. So I've hit the landing page. You've hit me with that very like quick sales conversion. It's that journey from the ad, and it's having that clear call to action right at the top of the page, which isn't a distraction. It is a give us your email address or book this call or do this thing. You've come here because you're interested about this thing.
They're already a bit warm. They already have an interest. They want to know more. So
here we are. You wanted to know about this thing? Here's the logical next step, the really easy next step. So I think having those clear call to actions is one of the elements. But then the thing I was sort of going to put back to you actually a little bit was around then having that continuity and that consistency with what you've talked about in your ads, because I know that's something when we talk to people, particularly around PPC, when we get into quality score, which we've done a whole podcast previously on, that you've got to have that marry up, haven't you, between what we're targeting and what you're talking about on the page.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the key areas where we find people are failing with their ads. It's when the landing page doesn't convey the same messaging, the same tone, and also the same information that the ads are, because essentially they've clicked the ad because of what you said in the ad. They're going to want to read more about what you've already shown them. Like you say, with quality score, so in Google Ads, they have a score out of 10 and it covers expected click-through rate, landing page experience and ad relevance. So really looking at that landing page experience, it's, okay, the keyword that we're targeting in the ads, are we sending them to a relevant page? Will Google deem our landing page as, that's the perfect place on this website for this business to send their users? And so actually making sure that you have that continuity, like you say, throughout all of the touch points along that customer journey, from initial ad click all the way through to them hopefully getting in touch with you. It needs to be seamless.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing that I've found when we've educated people around that, and we've talked to people about the quality score and the importance of having that continuity on the landing pages, is that they're quite surprised. They're almost like, oh, Google actually go and look at the page I'm sending them to. Like, I think people are quite almost shocked about that. And you're like, these robots that we talk about a lot, they're looking at these things and they want to know that, where you're sending them is relevant to what they're looking for. And so again, it's that thing, it comes back to that, there's not much value in just sending them at the homepage. One, because the user gets a bit lost because you haven't sent them down that dead end to sort of know what to do. But if Google's just going to say, oh, we're on your homepage or on your contact page, that's got nothing to do. That's got that relevance. And I think when people can start to appreciate that level of sort of detail that you can go into, when you factor in the level of detail that you can get into with the targeting. The ads, and I know some of the ads that we're setting up for clients at the moment, it's like, well, we want to target just manufacturing businesses or just businesses in a certain area. Well, you can run an ad just to those sorts of people. So then why wouldn't the landing page not only be specific to the product or service you're trying to sell them, make it totally unique to them, and the imagery that you're using on the landing page and the wording that you're using on the landing page and the benefits only talk about to manufacturing businesses, because you can send people down these very narrow sort of paths. Yes, as we said, there's the costs that you have to employ in that, because that is a dedicated landing page for that. And then if you've got 5 different industries you're trying to target, then that's when your budget, you just need to be aware of your budgets. But I think if people have that mindset of just have that little bit of care and attention. And I think one of the things I know that we've spoken about with John, our head of content, is that it's almost like just sending people to your shop, the front of your shop, and just hoping that they can open the door. Like, you got to sort of welcome them in, give them that sort of concierge service, because of course then you're going to get a better conversion rate, which is ultimately mean you're going to generate more leads from the money you're already spending on your ads.
You want to make it as easy as possible. You need to hold their hand, guide them through. You don't want them to be landing on a landing page and then clicking 10 times to find the information that they want. So like you say, making sure that you are making it as smooth of a journey as possible.
Smooth the journey. The thing it's the thing, I always feel bad for saying it to people, but you can't underestimate how little people care about what you're doing and how little they're paying attention. And you really do have to spell it out to them and make it as easy as possible. And it might be that landing page initially isn't the big sale. It isn't some big sales. This is probably one of the next things we look at when we're sort of analysing those landing pages is, okay, you've got the call to actions, but how much of like a commitment is it? Because you might have to assume, I've never heard of this business before. I'm interested, but it's straight to like buy this thing or a big commitment. You've got to really sort of nurture them along a journey, and obviously through remarketing and retargeting, you can do that. But it might just be as simple as, downloading a free guide or attending a free webinar or doing that little thing. Get that declaration of interest that we often talk about. Just give me that first little step. That it's not too much of a big commitment. I haven't completely committed to doing anything with you, but I've had the ability to show you where I am interested, and I am just going to attend your free webinar, download the thing, watch the video, and you take me on that nurturing journey to just to make that process more like that, holding their hand and really just taking them through gently.
Yeah, you make some really good points there. And I think actually a lot of it comes down to what type of campaign you're running influences what type of landing page you have. So obviously if you're going out, if it's a new business, for example, and you just need brand awareness, a social ad campaign targeting quite a big audience, you might not necessarily then have a landing page that's going straight for the kill of get in touch. You actually might need to send people to a landing page that's, okay, this is a little bit more about us. These are sort of case studies. These are some testimonials. Get to know us a little bit more. Whereas if you have a remarketing campaign, for example, that's targeting people that you know have already been on your website, that's when your landing page is probably a bit more sort of punchy and
can work a bit harder.
Yeah, going in for the kill.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
A way.
And I think it's that thing that you said. So if so where would you see these people on their journey with you as a business, their sort of lifetime journey with you as a business? And so, if it's a hi, we're just getting to know us type thing, there's more of that sort of find out more feel to it, where I can just attend webinars, subscribe to newsletters, download packs, download guides, and it's a very, very sort of easy commitment. I mean, obviously, there's the capturing of the email thing that can be really important, because then that could feed a whole email campaign. But you're still just, even if they're just visiting your website, you're getting that declaration of interest.
Exactly.
And so even one before capture email, you think, okay, people still might think that's a big commitment. I don't want to give you my details.
Yeah.
It's follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, anything that just gets us in your bubble, as I often refer to them, or gets you in our world of a business where, this is where you can find out more, and you sort of just start to receive our marketing collateral, be it via email or via social media. Yeah, and as you said, with the remarketing campaigns, when you can probably go for the kill a bit more is when they sort of move into more like lead capture, when it's like, book a call, do a thing, and you can sort of prompt it a bit more, and you can sort of push on that a bit more. But I know from the stuff that you do as well, there are almost like pages that people don't think are landing pages that can be landing pages as well, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. So obviously when you think of a landing page, you think, okay, I'm running a campaign, whether it's email or paid ads, whatever it is, it's the landing pages where people land. Absolutely true. But there's also after that. So what happens after they click a button to get in touch? Where are people then landing after the initial landing?
Where's the landing of the landing?
Exactly. So like thank you pages are really important. Unsubscribe pages are really important. So where you maybe have an email database that you're sending emails out to a group of people on a weekly basis, maybe. If someone, for whatever reason, decides they don't want to see your emails anymore, you could just let them click the unsubscribe button, and that's it. You never see them ever again. But actually an unsubscribe page would mean, okay, they click unsubscribe, they land on your website that's a page dedicated to, oh, sorry to see that you're leaving us. What actually is it that you don't want to see from us anymore? Because if you've got a solid email strategy in place, you'll be sending out different types of email the whole time. It might be that person is fed up of seeing 5 emails a week from you, but there's another email strategy that you've got going on, which is a newsletter that's once a month. And so by giving them the option, it's not just unsubscribe, I'm never going to see you again, but I want to unsubscribe from the weekly messages, but actually I do still want to know what's going on.
So you can almost like downsell
exactly.
them.
So they're not sort of going completely off your radar, but you're still giving them the option to have it less frequent.
Yeah.
And then thank you pages is the other one that's a big thing. It helps with tracking, which we'll talk about in a bit. But also it just keeps people on your website a little bit longer, rather than them submitting a form and then being taken back to the page that they've already looked at. A thank you page means you can maybe send them to a blog page or a podcast page or something like that. And it's something that we've been working on in QBD, actually, is when someone fills in a form about, I don't know, lead generation, for example, instead of it just ending there, we're actually then sending people to a dedicated thank you page that's a thanks for getting in touch. We'll contact you as soon as we can. In the meantime, here are 6 blogs all about lead generation and why it's important and the different types of lead generation you can do. And it just keeps them on the website that little bit longer. It nurtures our relationship with them as well. And so I think, as well as the initial landing page, like you say, the landing of the landing page as well, is equally as important. Yeah,
because I suppose it's that introduction into your world. So it's like, hi, welcome to our world. In terms of, now you've done that thing. here's all this other stuff to build up that relationship and nurture them through that journey. Definitely.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So we've already touched on a little bit of what makes a good landing page, what the warning signs are of maybe a landing page that can be improved. But just going back to sort of a strong landing page, what does that look like?
I think, as we've mentioned, the important thing is it's got that real clear focus. It's got that real clear purpose of you're expecting people to do one thing and make sure that's top, really. Obviously, having sort of well-written, persuasive content to really get people engaged. If you can get videos on there as well, it's just another way to keep people engaged because they can consume that content in different ways on the page. Having those clear call to actions that we've talked about. But I think the other things then is sort of building out and making sure that that landing page is like a salesman or a salesperson, where you are putting those sort of trust points, that social proof, because this could be the first time that this person has ever heard about you or heard about the services that you offer. So that landing page can do a lot of the work, and we often talk about how you can turn your website into a salesperson, and a landing page is really that like sort of supercharged in terms of, okay, to make this landing page a salesperson, can you deal with the objections that someone might have to engage with you. And it's something that it's a guide that we have that's available on our website at QBD, which is the 6-point content plan, where you can look through and you can see how to build out, and that's sort of fundamentals for a page, any page on your website. But if you take those 6 points in that plan and really apply that to a landing page, you won't be going too far wrong. But some of those things do include those trust points, that social proof, but then also like frequently asked questions, and almost like the should be asked questions we talk to them about. But the big one for me is those almost like dealing with the objections. And I say this a lot when I speak to businesses, is that I might be interested in your product or service, but I do have genuine objections to engaging with you, and it might be around timeframes or price or quality or something like that. Now, if I'm someone speaking to you face to face and I present those objections to you, you can deal with them. You can be like, no, you don't have to worry about that. And you can overcome those objections face to face. When you're running a campaign and you're sending someone to a landing page, you're not there to deal with those objections. But that doesn't mean I don't have them. So if your website, if your landing page can start to address that, and it doesn't have to be like really on the nose of like worried about the cost or anything like that, but you can start to alleviate some of those concerns where, people do bar on emotion and justify on logic and things. And so they're almost looking for a reason not to engage with you. And so if you can have that landing page doing that heavy lifting of nurturing people through, and it usually is through that series of like frequently asked questions, should be asked questions, explaining to people the process, those sorts of things, it can really help sort of change that conversion rate of that landing page, because you are going to get more people to inquire if you can break down some of those barriers. And then the other big one I would say is, is that social proof, but all those testimonials. It's a huge thing nowadays, and all the work we're doing at QPD around AI, a lot of that is around that social proof and what people are talking about. So getting those reviews on that page, I think is really important, particularly then if those reviews obviously are specific to that particular service or that particular audience. So we talked about if you're going to focus in on manufacturing businesses or retail, if the case studies or if the testimonials that you're sharing have relevance because it is people from that sector who also had similar problems, it's just going to really strengthen that. And it's about thinking about, probably 50-60% of the inquiries you get from a landing page, which is good, come at the top. But there's still 40-50% of people that aren't just going to click that first call to action they see, and they need the whole of that landing page to work and be that salesman. And taking them through that sort of content plan that we have on our website will really help with that. Obviously, technically as well, you need the website to look good on a mobile phone, load well, all those fundamental things that you need from your website. Those are huge holes, to go back to the analogy of holes in a bucket. But I think making your website look like a salesman and having that content on there and giving that salesperson everything it needs to convert as many people as it can, having that structure is really key to making it a success. Yeah, absolutely. And you make a really valid point there about the social proof. Your landing page could say how great you are, and you can tell people, these are all the benefits, we'll work really hard for you and your business, but it's the evidence and the proof
of the work you've already done that's going to make people convert. I know I do it myself when I'm searching for new clothes or whatever it is. If I can see loads of reviews saying these are the best jeans ever, oh my God, I'm like, well,
yeah, there we go.
I'm going to buy them now.
Up, yeah.
And so actually having that evidence paired with you obviously saying how great your business is, it's only going to benefit your business and lead to more conversions.
Yeah, and I think everybody online is sort of being trained to use and lean on and trust reviews more and more. So it's not just about sort of, I suppose, just plonking the top 10 nicest things anyone's ever said about you on your website, because of course you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And yes, you're going to say this is the greatest service you've ever had.
Yeah.
You should do that on your website, but making sure that website does have that sort of integration and connectivity to your Google reviews or TripAdvisor or whatever it might be, and those things can happen with a good technically built website.
Yes.
You can pull in that sort of live review element to it. It just really adds to that trust point. And having those sort of markers, I always sort of refer to them as stamps. If you go through and it's like approved by so and so, but we work with these companies and 30-day money back guarantee and all these sort of stamps that you've been trained to trust through websites. Put all of that on your landing page and don't worry about it being too much.
Yes.
I think people get a bit, who's going to read all this? Some people will, but having those call to actions punctured throughout the page gives anyone that opportunity. It's, okay, I wasn't convinced by your features and benefits section, but the testimonials or the feedback section, which pulled in from your Google Analytics, okay, now I'm in.
Yeah.
And give me that button there. Okay, I need a little bit more, so I'm going to scroll a bit further and I am going to read your frequently asked questions and your objections. Okay, I had objections, they're dealt with now. Oh, and there's a call to action button there as well, and I'm in. So it's having those sections to think, these landing pages can be quite long. They've got to be obviously well built, well designed, so it doesn't feel too onerous, the task to sort of trawl through them. But they've got to work really hard. And if they can become that salesperson, then they are going to generate more leads for your business. Yeah.
And you mentioned there about, some people won't convert straight away at the top. And obviously we've sort of discussed that depending on what campaign or what the group is landing on your landing page depends on sort of what they're going to do and how you're going to speak to them. Would you say that there is there such thing as having too much content on a landing page? Does it need to be really short and snappy, or do you need that sort of extra touch point? Like, so
that extra bit. Yeah, it's a good question, because I think where as I mentioned earlier, where we've done pages for people where they've got their normal services page and then they've got their landing page services page, because actually the rules that you need to get that normal services page sort of in line to optimize for SEO and GEO and AIO is slightly different, because the rules of what a good normal page on a website for SEO terms is slightly different to what a good page from a Google ads quality score, like we talked about, point of view needs. So that content does need to be there, but it needs to be presented in different ways, and it does need to be shorter and punchier. However, with any page on your website, it's still got to have enough. Yeah, you need that storytelling. The robots to get its teeth into and to convert as many people as you want. So, yes, I think if you're unsure, I would err on the side of having more. Yeah. But that's where you've got to engage with a proper agency, basically, to write it properly, so you're not just waffling. Yeah. So, don't just stick it into ChatGPT and get this generic sort of spew of words coming out. That it's got to be well written, it's got to be engaging, and it's got to have probably short, sharp, punchy sentences that are going to really sort of pull on that emotion that that person has when they're looking to engage with that product or service. But also, it's got to be well designed, because you can't just have that just massive blocks of text and massive,
it'll put people off.
It'll really put people off. It's got to have a flow. And I think that's what I've noticed from when I've seen the work that Gary and Spence, our two designers, do with the landing pages that they build, that they really want that flow. Yeah. It has literally got a journey to it. And you can almost see, you almost see the path that they're going on, that you're taking people through, and it is punctured by that call to actions. So if you're unsure and you think, this is not a lot. I was running a training course yesterday, actually, where it was more around getting your website sort of aligned with the robots nowadays and content. But we will often say to people, okay, put more content on your website or put more content on your landing page. And when you think you've got enough,
do more.
You haven't, do 10 times more. And then when you think that's enough, do another. Like you've really got to keep doing it. You can't really overstate it strong enough. But having it in a way through like drop down lists, all these sorts of things. There's clever ways in design nowadays where not everything is sort of in your face, overwhelming in one go. It can break it up. And as we said, videos again are a really good way to sort of puncture and break up that page. If you're going to have like video testimonials would be such a powerful thing to have. It's just different ways in which different people can engage with that content. So if you're erring on the side of less is more and all that sort of thing, I would go more, but make sure that it's designed well.
So we've obviously spoken a lot about content there and what sort of content you need on the landing pages. And obviously our head of content, John, the legend that he is.
The word wizard, yes.
We've got a lot of podcasts with him that are all about content for your website, what makes a good tone of voice, how to sort of get your brand personality and values across in the content that you're sharing. And obviously for anyone listening, if you are struggling with, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start, what to write about, how to get my personality across, John is your guy.
Yeah, it's such a great launch pad, isn't it? You get that right. I found this with clients that we've helped when we've done that sort of tone of voice and that sort of brand guidelines for your words. And when you know actually who your audiences are and the journeys you want to take them down, but also how you're going to communicate with them, then those landing pages and even your social media posts seem a bit more easy to do because you've got that sort of that hymn book, that playbook to go from, haven't you?
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's clear we've established the importance of landing pages. For our listeners, what can businesses do to sort of get the ball rolling with getting these things set up?
Yeah, I think the thing to start with is to sort of review. Okay, so first question is: are you running any form of paid advertising?
Yeah.
And where do those people go? As we said, landing pages aren't just for ads. They can be used in other ways, but that's probably the one that needs the first attention because you are literally paying money for people to visit your website. So you want to have that journey in place that we've spoken about. So if you're running any ads, just review what all the URLs are in the call to action click. Like, where are you sending people? Review that. And if you're sending them to a homepage or a contact us page,
stop it.
You literally might as well just turn the ad off, to be honest with you, because although it might be generating you leads, it's really not being as cost effective as it should be. So stop it, speak to us. We can put you on the right path for that. So I review that. But as we said, but also if you are going to be posting organically on social media or if you're running email campaigns, again, where are you sending people? Or you just keep throwing people at your homepage. Don't do that. Obviously, you're not necessarily arguably sort of spending directly as much money on that as you would be with ads, although obviously it still costs money to send emails in a way that, how are people accessing your website? When you're sending people to a website, what are they seeing for the first time? And is it tailored as well as it should be to those people? I think that would be the first thing I would check with. Then once you've got that, okay, well, we do run ads, or we do run email campaigns. Well, what would a good landing page look like for those people? How targeted are those ads? How targeted are those emails? And what would make a good experience, a good welcoming experience for people once they've clicked that link? How can I make that more of a place where they feel that they belong? And I often say this with websites, the first thing it's got to do is reassure people to think like, I've come to the right place.
Yes.
I'm in the right place. So you can get that first thing across. So once you've reviewed it, what ads, what email campaigns, what marketing you're doing that you're sending people to websites, where are they going? So what landing pages would you need? That would be my second point. And the third one, then you start to build out, okay, well, what does a good landing page look like? So what am I expecting these people to do? Well, there's two things. What do I want these people to do? And what am I expecting these people to do? But what are they likely to do? So yes, I want them to give me loads of money. That's obvious. And I could try and have a landing page like that. But we are emailing a relatively sort of cold list of people that we've picked up, through databases, or we are running ads to people that might not necessarily known us that well before. So the landing page, what's the call to action? What's that focus of the landing page? And if it is to spend a load of money on this service that you didn't really know you needed until 5 minutes ago when I first told you about it, big jump. Think of it like those stepping stones.
Yeah.
And it's okay, how can I nurture people? What's the logical next step? What's the low commitment, no commitment step that I can just start to harness, get that declaration of interest to maybe do the retargeting, remarketing campaign, to do the follow-up email campaign. So just think about it and be honest about it. Like, I think everybody, when we speak to businesses, they're always like, well, I don't like being sold to.
Yeah.
But then when we speak to them, they want to just sell to everyone. And so it's like, put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
What would you want to see?
100%.
Let's just work through it in that way. And yeah, it was a sort of saying I heard years ago when I was still in the charity sector around emails, but you don't ask someone to marry you on the first date. Which is a slightly weird one, but I think it has such a strong point because obviously it's sort of applied to emails of the first email I ever send you, I'm expecting you to buy from me. You can probably apply that same logic a little bit to this journey that you're trying to take people through. If it's a really like, we're trying to reach a new audience, and ads, typically, when you're running that first type of ad, you are reaching that quite cold, very new audience. But yes, once they've clicked, they warm up because they show an interest. They're still relatively new.
Yeah.
And what can I do? I'm not just going to go straight in with the sell. What can I do? And what would be that logical next step, I think? So yeah, review any landing pages that you currently got with any ads you go in. What landing pages should you have? And then make sure you get those logical steps, and you should be on the path to success.
Thanks, Rich. It's been great to have you on the show today. We've obviously covered a lot about landing pages. For people interested in learning more, what can they do next?
So as we mentioned, they can reach out. So if you go to our website, qbd.co.uk, there's a whole resources section there. In there, you'll find things like the 6-point content plan that I mentioned, which is a good guide if you're looking to develop some of these pages yourself. You could also request a website review and a website audit. That can apply just to certain landing pages.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you don't want us to sort of dig through all of your website, I mean, we can do if you want, but if you just want us to have a look at certain pages, just get in touch. You can reach out, fill in the contact form on the website, find us on social media. We're also always producing lots of these podcasts, but also doing lots of events in the area as well, so people can come along to the sort of the free workshops that we do. But yeah, just reach out. As our colleague Liam always says, it's free to have a conversation. There's no expectations or assumptions made. We're happy just to review your journey where you're at. If you want us to take a look at your ads, your landing pages, and just see if there's any little pointers that we can give you, just go to a website, reach out, you can contact us. And we'd love to hear from you.
Thanks again to Rich for joining us today. It's been brilliant unpacking why landing pages are so often the weak link in a marketing campaign, and how fixing them can transform the results you get from your ads, emails, and organic social media. If you'd like to see how this works in practice, or want support in auditing or rebuilding your own landing pages, head over to qbd.co.uk for more information. All the links are in the show notes, including how to connect with Rich. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the podcast so others can learn how to improve their marketing results too. I look forward to joining you again on the QBD podcast, The Marketing PowWow.
The QBD podcast.